Hi guys, welcome to my channel. If this is your first time here, I'm so happy that you have stumbled across my path and into the craziness that is my mind and my world. So today we're going to be talking about a couple things that I have really been wanting to talk to you guys about on here, but haven't had time to sit down and do it. So we're going to be talking about some conspiracies, and I am one of those people who fall so deep down the rabbit hole when it comes to conspiracies. Like, it's insane the stuff that's out there and like the world we're living in right now. Like, I don't know. I used to be one of those people who kind of laughed at conspiracy theorists. Not that, anything that they were saying didn't make sense. It was just like, when do you have the time to like find these things out? And then lo and behold, here I am down all these rabbit holes. But I guess first off, I have to say that none of this stuff is meant to hurt, destroy, bully, ruin fandom, or anything else. Conspiracies are, just kind of for fun, and, whether or not we believe in them or we don't, which I'm kind of on the the side of believing some of these. Now, I'm not going to say that I believe everything I'm going to be talking to you guys about today. Some of them are a little far-fetched, but I find them super, super fascinating. It's one of my favorite things to do is to, explore conspiracies and just like learn about, the craziness that goes on. But yeah. So before we get into that, I just want to say thank you guys, those of you who have been following my Today's Gay documentary miniseries. I've posted the first 2 videos so far. It's a 3-part saga. I've gotten so much positive feedback from people, and it just, it makes me feel so good knowing that, what I was hoping to happen is happening, that, people are reacting to them positively, that, they're taking away, what I was hoping they would take away from them, and that they're really just, getting into my head a little bit and understanding what it's like, to be an open gay man in 2018. But anyways, so that's up on my channel. I will link those in the description below so you guys can see those if you haven't yet. Now, by the time you see this video, all 3 parts should be up. This is kind of my end of November video / beginning of December video. I might end up posting it sooner after I get everything edited, but I really just want you guys to see this because I have been wanting to talk to you from the beginning about this. If you've been following me for a little bit, I think you can kind of tell that I've been growing a lot with this channel. I think that's kind of what YouTube is all about, kind of starting from the bottom, growing up, knowing that not even that I'm close to being anywhere even past like the intermediate level or the level to where I can say I'm a YouTuber. I'm just trying to get there personally for myself, because this outlet for me has just been so great in so many different ways. Just being able to talk to you guys freely without feeling any type of way. It's probably because no one can respond directly to the things I'm saying, but it's such a great way for me to get my thoughts out and to just connect with people on a different, weirder kind of level. I love getting the feedback I get from, my videos, and, when I'm out and about and people are like, oh, I watched your channel, I really like you. That's so awesome. That's, what I want to get across. But anyways, so I think I've talked about it in other videos, where, the very first video I posted, I was just in my living room. It was super dark, really, really short, and I didn't really know what to say. But, now I've gotten some better equipment. Obviously, you can see me a lot better. I'm not like a blurred out gray smudge. I got a selfie ring, which I've been using. It gives great lighting. I also have some other lighting that, you have to work with the right way to get it to work for you. But, it definitely is helping, for me to be a better YouTuber. This is truly something I'm so passionate about, and I'm just so happy that you guys have been following along with me. And this right behind me is the newest addition to my, YouTube setup. I finally have a background. I'm probably not always going to be using it, but it's just pretty awesome to have. I think it fits me very well. It matches all of the themes I have throughout my bedroom which is great for me. I do really like to blog sitting at my desk in my kitchen, but so you can like see my Christmas tree and things like that, the decorations in my apartment. But I did want to take it a little further, get a little more official, and here we are. She has a background. But anyways, without any further ado, I know I've already wasted 5 minutes talking to you guys, and I hope you're still here with me. But we are going to talk about some conspiracies tonight. Again, none of this stuff is intended to hurt anyone. Please don't get upset if, you don't believe in this stuff, or, if it's, anything that could hinder anyone. None of this is factual. None of this has been proven. Okay, sorry, I'm back. I had to feed my little one real quick, and I ate a Cheeto. Anyways, so right back into the conspiracies. So I'm only going to be talking about a couple of them today, and they're going to be the ones that really resonate with me, the ones I've just really gone down that rabbit hole in and just lost my mind, lost my sense of reality, lost my sense of, is this real? It's gotta be. I have so many conspiracies I could talk to you about now. If you guys like this type of content, I definitely would love to do more of them. And just give me your feedback straight up. Okay, so the first one I'm going to be talking about is my absolute favorite / craziest one I think I've ever stumbled across. And that's the idea of cloning, piggybacking on, the potential android versions of humans and uploading your consciousness to a cloud. I just have so many thoughts about this topic. Shook. Sister shook. She quaked, she ached, she did all of the things. So cloning, a lot of us have, seen videos, have heard a lot of things about this. I know B.O.B. has talked about it very publicly. Like, we have Britney Spears, who is constantly hinting in her videos about cloning. And although the celebrity cloning is a very fascinating point, and I will touch on it a little bit, but the part that I'm really interested in is the idea of, being able to download and upload a human's consciousness to a cloud, to a computer. I just don't even know where to start. Is it actually us? Are we still living? I'm a person who very much believes in God, and I'm not going to let that conflict with the, ideology of this. But in my mind, I'm so if your physical body dies and we're to we have souls. So how do you take the soul out and put it into the cloud? Or is it, the whole, people say your soul is your consciousness and all that, and they're saying we're literally uploading your consciousness. How do you gather the fact that our consciousness and our soul are tied to one? So how does that go into the cloud? Are we, actually dead, and is our soul gone, and it's just a functioning version of what our human memories were? I want to hear everything you guys think about this. If you've researched it, or if you haven't and this is first you're hearing about it, please do some digging and tell me what you think, because I'm floored. Now, the idea of this is to, essentially extend lives, all that, which is great. I'm all for health. I'm all for, continuing on if you want to continue on, but when does it cross a line of playing God and choosing to never die? I mean, essentially, if you have the money, you can be immortal, and that's kind of the first type of cloning I'm really interested in. I guess in this theory, there would be obviously our human bodies, the bodies we have now, would no longer be functioning, so they would essentially be creating a version of maybe ourselves, maybe exact clone of what we look like now. Or will we be able to choose how we're gonna look? There's actually a little series on Netflix about all this. It's called Altered Carbon, and it's literally just like that. And it follows so many of the points that I found that scientists are truly talking about this stuff. It's so real. This stuff is happening. The technology is supposedly there. They're supposedly working on it. Again, I'm shook. Anyways, so after you do the research, and then if you go watch this series, you'll see exactly what I'm talking about. Like, bitches are literally going to like a mall type place, and there's a salesperson there, and they're like, pick your body, like pick the body you deserve for X amount of hundreds of thousands of dollars. And it's literally like the picture of the body, and then it's like, put your wife inside me. Like, bitch, are you kidding me right now? Like, put your wife inside me. That's so vulgar. I mean, you know, I'm not the, you know, I'm a dirty ass person. Like, I have a sailor's mouth. And when I saw that, bitch, I was just like, oh my God, really? We're fucking talking about this right now? Okay, so, I just can't wrap my mind around it. Like, a part of me thinks it's so cool, but another part of me is like, what? Like, what? Are you kidding me? I don't know. I guess we'll see. You know, they're saying that this technology will be available by 2050. That's not that far away, guys. Like, think about it. It's not that far away. You know, I'm 25 now, so, oh God, I can't do math, but I will be like in my 50s or 60s or something. You know, I'll still be here, you know, and most of us will be too. And like, what if it's available for me? Like, what if I'm able to upload my brain into a conscious body that's not mine? Like, what would the initial shock value be when, you know, your brain that's in this form wakes up and you've died? So like, I'm sure there's some type of processing and, you know, whatever when that happens. So like, what does that wake up feeling feel like? What is that shock of coming back? You know, like, what would that feel like? What would you remember from dying? You know, like, and then to like pick up a mirror and see yourself in a different body, like, I don't know. I feel like I would spiral fast, in all honesty. But, you know, that's one of the theories of how cloning could actually be implemented in our fucking world. Like I said, it's there. The technology is there. Okay, and the other one that I have researched and I find really fascinating is the idea of not necessarily cloning, but age reversal, you know? And to me, like, this seems something that might be a little more plausible, something a little more realistic. You know, it takes away the idea of having to die. First off, you don't have to die. Great. You don't have to go through whatever shock may happen in the death process. But, you know, there's a lot of technology and a lot of medications and things saying that, you know, people are going to be able to age reverse. They're, you know, the stem cell research and all that plays a big part in it and everything. And I could see myself gathering this more so than the robots. Now, I watched a video of a guy who was talking about it. He's an Australian man, and this is where a lot of the tech is coming from. This is a lot of where these ideas are coming from. These things are being tested and, you know, being developed, is in Australia. And the guy that was basically in the video, he was saying that, you know, by the time this technology is available, that how did he say it? He was like, I'll probably be 30 years younger by the time this technology happens. Like, I won't be gaining any age, I'll just be reversing. And the idea of that to me is not only crazy, but like, it's pretty awesome, you know? And then it kind of tied into the whole robotic stuff. They essentially saying, you know, like, people, obviously they're going to want younger people, like the younger generation of people, to go into these bodies and like live a different life or whatever. But what about the people who are older? Like, because, you know, like I said, I'll be 50 or 60 at that point. And, you know, what if my brain has altered a bit since then? Like, you know, I would say that the prime time to do something like that, if you were going to do it, would be from like 24 to 31, you know, just to give a little wiggle room, because that's like your max point. You know, you're done growing, your mind's completely developed, all that. And then after, you know, you're 31, things start to, you know, trickle. You know, you start, you know, getting older, you start getting wrinkles, start potentially getting diseases, you know, what have you. And so for that instance, so would the age reversal be more toward, you know, for the older people to kind of get them back to the point where they could potentially upload their conscience to where it isn't so, I guess, damaged? That's not a good word for that. I mean, it's proven that, as you get older, your brain is affected by aging, and everything's affected by aging. So to me, that actually kind of makes sense if they would want to get you back to a state where your what's the word? Your purpose for life, your quality of life is at a stronger point. That just makes sense to me. Like, I could definitely see that happening. But the key point to being able to do this is like, well, if we're going to reverse your age, wouldn't you have to have like a sample or something of like DNA from like a former version of yourself? Like, how are you going to get that? And this is actually something, I've done a lot of my own personal research on this one, but I am a big fan of Shane Dawson, and he touched on this like 6 months ago in a video he did. Like I said, I did my own research. I don't want it to seem like I'm copying Shane, because I'm not. I'm a huge fan of Shane. I love him. I'm not just copying his videos, but I am very, very fascinated in a lot of the stuff that he does and, finds out. Like, he's kind of who got me into conspiracy theories, to be completely honest with you guys. Like, I'm not trying to hide anything. I'm not trying to copy anyone. But, it would make sense that you'd have to have a piece of DNA from a former version of yourself, And it directly ties back to a lot of things that's happening right now, like all of these ancestry websites, especially the 23andMe. Literally, when you do the 23andMe, you're getting a tube that you spit into, and they capture your saliva, and literally that's all they're going to need. So during the interview with 23andMe, when they were talking about this, they had said in a statement, like, the kits are not meant to be a selling point. They're not meant to be what drives the company or what makes the company money. It's the data that would be accumulated from the kits. So isn't the whole point of like 23andMe to find out who your heritage is, like where you come from, what your family tree is, where you root from? So how is that data? So to me, that ties into, okay, data, DNA. Do you get where I'm going? 23andMe will have a DNA sample from us. If we do this, it'll be frozen somewhere. They will have a literal version of us at whatever age we do that. So whether or not we're 18, 20, 21, 25, 31, whatever, they have that. They can essentially take that DNA and fucking recreate you. They can recreate your body, your mind. Like, I'm just like, bitch is sweating. Like, I'm literally sweating thinking about this. And, another thing that Shane had mentioned is, they say that they keep all this stuff private. They don't leak our information, all that. Ooh, my background's messed up. Let me see if I can fix this. Okay, sorry guys. So they say that, they keep all this stuff private. They're not sharing our information, but like, Google said that in the beginning too. And now Google literally has everything tapped. Like, they give us custom ads. They know what music we like. They know what movies we're into. Like, literally, they have us tapped. And Google also said in the beginning that they would not be sharing our personal and confident information. And at this point, that's all they do. And they sell it. And ironically, Google has invested millions of dollars into 23andMe. So... Dude, it's crazy to think about. So Google is literally going to have everything we think about, what we want to buy next, all of it. And now they're going to have our fucking DNA. Google is going to own this. And when this medication or this technology is available, it's going to be really funny when people start getting phone calls or texts, maybe emails saying, hey, this age reversal technology is available. We have a sample of your DNA. What are you willing to pay for it? Just let that sink in for a second. Okay, so I'm going to get off the cloning topic because I'm really trying to make this video not as long as some of my other videos have been, just because I want this to be like, a door opening for conspiracies, and I want to hear from you guys, see if you actually like this stuff. And like I said, I can totally dig way more into it. But to wrap up the cloning, I do want to touch a little bit on the idea of the Illuminati, the theory of the Illuminati, the celebrity cloning, which, I'll be so honest, that's what first got me into the idea of cloning. That's what made me fall down this rabbit hole with cloning. And to me, it's not so far-fetched to believe that, the Illuminati or the government could be cloning our favorite celebrities, you know, they never look like they're aging. If anything, they look like they're getting different. Tattoos tattoos disappear, personalities seem to disappear, and like, I think, you know, B.O.B. has talked about it. Before Prince and Michael Jackson, they had spoke on it briefly, and look what happened to them. They died. But like, you know, something that does trigger me into think, you know, if they were cloned, but they're dead, why can't they just, you know, do they not have another clone? Can that person not be altered to where they don't speak out? See, that's the part that gets me. That's the part where I'm having a hard time following the idea of the celebrity cloning, because like, if they can alter and change you, why wouldn't they just like have them come up with a public apology saying, you know, I was on drugs or something? Because they're all, you know, accidental overdoses on drugs. That's how they're dying. So like, it wouldn't be a secret that they're using drugs. Like, maybe it would hit like a negative PR standpoint and they would have to clean that up. But to me, that's better than essentially just taking out one of our most fucking loved celebrities or singers or artists, you know? And to me, it's just like, I don't know, but maybe also, you know, it's to stop us from believing that the cloning is really happening. I mean, people die. Maybe they have to have people die. Like, you know, Amy Winehouse is one of those people who died, you know, randomly. And she didn't have any really controversial stuff going on with cloning or the Illuminati or anything like that. So maybe that was just, you know, a hit or miss type example. But, you know, I don't know. But it is pretty interesting that in a lot of our favorite singers and artists' music videos, I really do feel like they hint at stuff like that. Like Britney Spears is all over it, you know, with that whole album that she produced that her record label would not let her share. And she, you know, went to a local radio station and had them play her track, and it was all about being duplicated, you know. It was all about not being who she was when she started. And if you think about like her album titles, like, in the beginning, it was all really happy. Like, I'm so happy that, you know, I'm here. Like, we had Soda Pop, you know, Hit Me Baby One More Time, like really uppity pop songs. And, you know, that's how we came to love Britney. And then her next album, like one of her most popular songs was Lucky. And, you know, that's all about being a controlled celebrity. And I don't know, and it just started getting worse and worse and worse from there with her albums. And of course, Slave came out, and that one really has me shook. So I really think Britney's trying to tell us something, guys. Like, and you know, maybe when she had her breakdown in 2007, maybe that was her clone glitching. You know, maybe her clone had a meltdown. Maybe her new clone wasn't programmed properly, or maybe even she got wind that they were gonna try and clone her, and she wanted to go so far that maybe they wouldn't want to clone her. Maybe they wouldn't want to take her into the cloning facilities and copy her. Maybe she thought that if she did that, they would just leave her alone or kill her, you know, like not duplicate her. But over the years, she's had a lot of weird changes, and, you know, I'm going to have to do a separate video dedicated to Britney, because I could just go on and on and on about Britney. And, you know, Justin Bieber, they're talking about him being a higher up guy in the Illuminati. In the Illuminati, they talk about like lizard creatures, and we've all seen that video. I'll insert it, where Justin like blinks his eyes and then it shifts to lizard eyes when he's doing a mugshot, and no one can explain that. Like, it's clear that something like that couldn't have been edited. That came from the fucking police, you know? That was something that came from the police in Los Angeles. I had to. It all messes with me so much. But, you know, like I said, if you guys like this stuff, I would love to make a whole video documenting everything about the Illuminati, celebrities, and all the shit they go through. Give me some thumbs up. Let me know if you like hearing this kind of stuff, and I would love to jump in this with you guys. I would love to go down these holes together. The second thing I want to talk about here on this video tonight is the theory that, and look, I'm just going to keep it at these two conspiracies because, you know, we're already like 20 minutes in. The last theory we're going to talk about today is the whole concept of the Earth being flat. And when I first heard about this one, I was just like, what? No, girl, there is no way that the Earth is flat. Like, hello, we've all learned in school and college and everything that the Earth is round. We're in the galaxy, blah, blah, blah. Like, it's just common knowledge. Like, the Earth is round, right? I mean, yeah, the Earth is round. It's not flat. We haven't thought it was flat in years. Thousands of years, hundreds of years. What if, though, there was a point to the earth being flat? What if there was logic behind it? They talk about in the Bible how the earth is, land based, surrounded by a dome. What if that really is the concept? Like, what if the earth really is flat? Now, I never really thought much into it until I started researching it. And there are a lot of things that make sense with it, to me at least. Like, I think the whole reason that people don't want to believe that the earth may potentially be flat is because, like, it discredits a lot of, scientific theories that are out there. And, like, I really hope you picked on the fact that I said theory, because everything's theories. Like, the Big Bang Theory, the theory of gravity. Like, we have taken all these theories so to heart, and we are forgetting to remember that they are just theories. There's no physical proof of this. And you're like, oh no, Robbie, like, no, we went to the moon. We definitely know that there's gravity out there. I mean, like, we have gravity. That's how we can breathe, what have you. But, at this point, like, I truly think there are more people who believe that the earth and all that, like, I believe that as a generalized population, or at least a younger millennial, group of people like that we're all in, and probably the most people watching this, is that we have pretty much gathered that the moon landing was fake. There's so much evidence going into it, like seeing the studio camera in the reflection of the helmet, the flag blowing when there would if gravity were real, gravity wouldn't be in outer space. The angles of the shadows, like, so much of the moon landing has potentially been debunked at this point, and like, yeah, so, like, our biggest piece of proof that, gravity is real is the moon landing. And there is so much shit to debunk it, to say that it's not true. But yeah, we hold on to these pieces of evidence as fact that are all theoried. And the whole moon landing might not even be real. That's something to really think about. And that sends so many shivers up my spine. Like, why would they go to such extremes to prove that something was real that isn't real? And they're, it's come out that they don't have any of the original documents of the moon landing. They don't have any of the original video. And that, the equipment that, even if they had the video, that the equipment that was used to play that stuff has been destroyed. Like, why would we destroy it? We have hieroglyphics. We have so much proof of the past. We have Torahs, Bibles, like original documents that were from fucking 5,000 years ago. But we can't hold on to something that happened 20, 30 years. Well, no, it's a lot longer than that. Like in the 80s. Like, we don't have that. But we have urns and, everything else. Like, what the fuck? Am I not the only one who feels this way? Am I fucking nuts? Maybe I'm nuts. Or maybe I'm, I feel like as soon as you come out and say that you might believe that the earth is flat, you lose all credibility for being a mentally stable person. But, in school and like growing up, we were always taught to test theories, to find out what our belief is, to find out how, what we fall into. And like, the whole point of being a scientist, or to be anyone of any intellectual, standing, is to think outside the box, to think a little bit deeper than we normally would. And, this modern day we live in, people don't want us to do that. They want us to believe what they tell us. They want us to be programmed. They want us to walk a straight line, be cloned. Like, it's a mess. But, as I fell more and more down this hole of the whole earth being flat, like, again, I don't want to say I believe the earth is flat, because I don't know. I'm so torn between, everything I learned all my life, and just like, I just don't get why, if it was flat, like, why is it such a big deal? Maybe it's such a big deal because, like, the idea of us hurtling through space with the Big Bang Theory, like, we're meaningless. We don't have something to really hold on to that's tangible. Other than the fact that we're all here by coincidence, and that just is what it is. Like, maybe the idea of the earth being flat might mean that, talk about in the Bible that God created the earth just for us, and his sole purpose is to love us. And, he provided this earth for us. And, maybe believing that the earth is flat is just too much, puts too much religion back into the world, where, you know, it's people would maybe more inept to believe in God if they truly believed that science backed up the fact that God created the land for us. And, you know, I'm not trying to get preachy with it at all. Like you know, I'm very different when it comes to religion. I don't like, you know, like I said, I do believe in God, but I don't like discriminate against anybody who doesn't, or, you know, are confused on how they feel. Like, hell, I don't consider myself religious at all. Like, I believe in God, but I do not believe in religion, which that whole topic's something for a totally different video. But like, the most interesting piece of evidence to me about the earth being flat is the fact that human beings are not allowed to explore in Antarctica after a certain point. And the theory behind that is that Antarctica is actually the barrier. Antarctica is the barrier that could be the drop-off point on either side, or maybe it's a sphere type Earth. That's kind of, you know, everything I've gathered. It's like it's a flat sphere, and Antarctica is essentially circling the whole sphere, and that's the, you know, the wall. It's the ice wall, literally. Like, we call it an ice wall. And it's so ironic to me because, like, the national, you know, all the powerhouses of the world have all agreed that we are not going to explore Antarctica. And what's the reasoning? Like, why? We want to explore the oceans, we want to explore everything, but why can't we explore Antarctica, you know? Like, it doesn't make sense to me. And the only thing that I could gather is that they don't want us exploring it. It's because we're going to find out something that's going to essentially change the course of human history to the max, because we have solid proof on it. And, you know, even the national, the seal for the, you know, all the leaders of the world, like, it looks like a flat earth. Insert picture here. But yeah, it just legit, like, there's just so many things pointing to it. And, you know, with flight patterns is such another big thing that, you know, could come into play with the earth being flat. Like, flight patterns do not make sense. Like, why do we have to go to A, then to F, G, H just to get to B? And there are so many situations in which, you know, had the earth been flat, that flight patterns would make a little more sense, because you'd be going here versus being on a, you know, sphere. In a ball type earth, you'd have to, you know, be traveling like this. If the earth is round, you'd be traveling like this to get to destinations. And that just doesn't make sense when it comes to flight patterns. But if we're on a flat earth and we're going like this straight to a destination, it makes so much more sense. And there's hundreds of these out there if you research them. I can't tell you how many I found talking about the weirdest things about flight patterns and how they just don't fucking make sense. And people are like, oh, well, it's just layovers. It's to, you know, accommodate other people in other areas. Yeah, okay, maybe I'll give you that. But so the biggest one is a lady went into labor on a plane, and I believe they're going from LA to New York. And she went into labor. It was an emergency labor, so they had to make an emergency landing. So instead of circling back to go to LA, because that would have been closer than finishing the route to New York, they curved and went what would have been out of their way to go to Alaska. Now, on a globe, that makes no sense, because literally you're curving. You are curving to go from LA to Alaska. Like, that would be so out of the way. Like, it'd be better for them to just loop around and go back to the LA airport, right? No, they went to Alaska. Why did they go to Alaska? You know, they can't say it was because they were low on fuel, because it would have taken longer, in theory, if the earth was, you know, round. It would have taken longer to go to Alaska than it would have been to just turn around. But if you put the earth flat on a map, you connect LA directly to Alaska in a straight line. It makes sense, y'all. It makes sense, guys. I don't know what else to say. That's where I'm gonna end this video. I'm gonna leave it at that. Like, I'm gonna let you guys gather your own opinions, and like I said, I would love to hear what you have to say about this stuff. Like, please DM me, please comment on this video, Snapchat me, whatever. Tell me what your thoughts. Tell me if you want to hear more stuff like that. But again, guys, thank you so much for clicking on my video today. Please share, subscribe, tag your friends. I really would love for this channel to grow some. You guys are great. I decided, like, once I start hitting milestones with my channel, like if I get to 100, 500, 1,000 subscribers, I'm going to start doing little giveaways. If you guys want that stuff to happen, you gotta get me there. We gotta get there, guys. We're a team. I'm doing this for you all. I would love to, you know, be able to do stuff like that. So yeah, again, I'm Robbie Nick. It's been such a fun ride already with you guys, and I hope we're able to keep doing it, and I'd love to do some giveaways. So yeah, I'll talk to you next time. I'm actually going to be doing my next video is going to be me trying to duplicate a James Charles eyeshadow look. Now, unfortunately, I wasn't able to get his new palette, which I would love to get it. I'm going to get it at some point, but, you know, obviously it's in high demand right now, and it's really hard to get your hands on. So I went and found as many similar eyeshadows to what's in his palette as I could today, and I'm going to be playing with those. It's all drugstore makeup. That's kind of my thing. Like, I try and show that you can do a lot of, you know, really popular looks with drugstore makeup, and that's, really only due to lack of funding. You know, it's, you know, this is a hobby for me. I'm not, you know, a paid influencer. I just kind of do this stuff for fun. And I can't always afford to go buy a $50 palette as much as I would love to. Just not there yet. Someday I will be, and if I ever get the opportunity to, I will be. So if in a couple years I'm way further along in this and I'm able to do stuff like that, don't say I sold out on you guys, because, you know, I'm not. It's just, this is what I can afford right now. And, you know, I do believe that you can, you know, get a lot of really popular looks with drugstore makeup. There's nothing against it. I grew up my whole adult teenage life using drugstore makeup, and yeah, but I'll jump into a little more of that in the next video, guys. As always, love you. Thank you so much.